Good evening, this is GC and English News Edition, and you're watching with me, Ning Hoi Kim Kong Sai. First, the headlines. 3 Mar men allegedly killed by Assam police. Family says justice not served. State government and Ministry of Home Affairs will take responsibility with regard to any eventualities of untoward incidents, says Kotu. Drone attack kills dozens of Rohingya fleeing Myanmar. Lieutenant General Pentarkar takes charge of Spear Corps. Manipur conflict top priority. News in detail. 25 days after an alleged police encounter in Assam Kachar district, where 3 suspected militants belonging to Mar tribe were killed, the family members received their bodies on Saturday, maintaining justice has not been served yet. 2 of the deceased youths were residents of Kachar, while one was from Manipur's Churachandpur district. Police say that they died after an encounter between other militants, but the family members claimed that it was an extrajudicial killing. The post-mortem report showed the trio suffered bruises and other wounds prior to their deaths. The family members initially refused to receive the bodies and filed a petition in Guwahati High Court seeking justice. After several rounds of hearings, the High Court on July 7 asked the police to hand the bodies over to the family members. The bodies, which were kept in the morgue of Silchar Medical College and Hospital (SMCH), were handed over to the families on Saturday and buried in Kachar's Markolin area in the evening with Christian rituals. The family members said they wanted to take the bodies to their native villages to perform the last rites, but they were successful by the local administrations to complete it in Markolin. We are not happy with this, but we followed their instructions because we didn't want any further tensions. We are still waiting for justice to be served, the family members said. 35-year-old Joshua Lerwing, son of Manipur's Churachandpur, along with 2 Assam residents, Langungoi, Mar 21, and Lalbikung, Mar 33, were arrested with a large amount of firearms in Kachar on July 16th. And later on the same day, they were killed, according to the police. Police said that during an investigation, they were taken to Buban Hill area near the Assam-Manipur border, where some militants attacked from the forest, and these 3 died in crossfiring. However, a controversy arose after the statement of Assam Police and Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma mismatched. Sarma said that Kachar police killed 3 Mar militants from Assam and Manipur, while the Superintendent of Police, SP of Kachar, Numal Mahatta, said that the 3 militants were killed in an encounter with other militants. He also said that the arrested militants were wearing bulletproof jackets and helmets, but still they sustained bullet injuries and died. Several tribal organizations, including Mar Inpui and Mar Students Associations, raised questions against the encounter of 3 Mar youths and demanded an unbiased investigation. The apex body of Mar tribe across the northeast, Mar Inpui, said that the killing of the 3 youths within 24 hours of arrest was a cold-blooded killing, which was translated as encounter by the Assam police. After the arrest with their alleged weapons, how can the Assam police exercise their right of private defense? The act is an utter disregard to the judicial institutions by persons who are expected to uphold the supremacy of law, they stated. They say that the alleged extrajudicial killing is unlawful, inhuman, unnecessary, and illegitimate. This is purely state-sponsored terrorism. Extrajudicial killings should have no place in liberal and right-respecting democracy, they added. The family members later say that they won't receive the bodies until the police personnel involved in the alleged extrajudicial killing are suspended and arrested. However, On Saturday night, they say that they are satisfied with the postmortem report and they believe in the judiciary. We have faith in the High Court and we are hopeful that we'll get justice one day, they said. Committee on Tribal Unity condemns and refutes the decision made by central government to replace the Assam Rifles with other central forces from buffer zones of Kangpokpi and Churachandpur districts. In connections with the issue, KOTU released another press release that said recent untamed efforts for removal of 22 and 9 Assam Rifles from Sadai Hills, Kangpokpi and Kangvai, Churachandpur by the Union Home Ministry and the state government of Manipur at this critical juncture is a clear indication of the Union government's approval towards the mass genocide program of the Kuki zone from the entire region. The release further said that the recent audio record or clips of the incumbent Chief Minister of Manipur and Biren Singh's unscripted and forthright admittance of being the perpetrator of this ethnic cleansing subsume all fears and trepidations of the minority Kuki-Zo tribal community in the region, who have fervently appealed to the government of India on the same. It is also pertinent to mention that the coordinated and pre-planned strategy of Biren Singh through his emissary, Pramod Singh of Meitei Lipund, who have vowed to annihilate the entire 15-kilometer stretches of Kangpokpi on the national news TV channels on the 6th June 2023, and which was subsequently substantiated by the Valley-based Meitei CSOs. The Coordinating Committee on Manipur Integrity, COCOMI, who declared clarion call to wage war on the Kuki zone on the 7th June 2023, seems to have eventually materialized. Therefore, on behalf of the kindred tribes of all Kuki-Zo community and the sentiments of the general public, the Committee on Tribal Unity is constrained to take preemptive measures from this day onwards against the second wave of ethnic war on the Kuki-Zo community from the majoritarian Meitei community led by a warmongering leader, Biren Singh, and his biased administrations, and cautions the concerned authorities in any eventualities of untoward incidents. Arising out of this will be the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Home Affairs and the State Government of Manipur.
The Committee on Tribal Unity is constrained to issue the statement with regards to the present ethnic cleansing, which has surpassed more than 15 months of unrestrained attack against minority Kuki-Zo community by the Meitei community. The recent efforts to remove 22 and 9 Assam Rifles from Kuki-Zo dominated areas by the Government of India and the Government of Manipur is a clear indication to annihilate the entire Kuki-Zo from the region. In fact, it is pertinent to mention that Mr. Pramod Singh of the Meitei Lipun, on his candid admission to blow 15-kilometer stretches of Kangpokpi on national TV news channel on the 6th June 2023, and the Meitei CSO COCOMI to declare war on the Kuki-Zo on the 7th June 2023 is a premeditated and pre-planned genocide pogrom, which is unfortunately substantiated by Mr. Biren Singh, the incumbent Chief Minister of Manipur, through his unrestrained and candid admittance of being the perpetrator of this conflict through audio records or clips which went viral. Therefore, the Committee on Tribal Unity will take preemptive measures to protect ourselves against the Meitei militants and valley-based insurgent groups. Also, resort to a more stringent form of agitation, and any untoward incidents arising out of will be sole responsibility of the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Government of Manipur.
The committee would further appeal to all our brethren within all areas inhabited by the Kuki-Zo community to remain vigilant and steadfast in our endeavor and desist from fanning ill will against anyone. On August 10, 2024, the Kulki Students Organizations Delhi and NCR, KSOD and NCR held a rally at Jantar Mantar, New Delhi. The rally was attended by a large number of people and memorandums were submitted to the Prime Minister's Office, Home Ministry and Defense Ministry. The main demands included the creation of a separate administrations for the Kulkizal people and the withdrawal of the 9th Assam Rifles Battalion from Gangwai and the 22 Assam Rifles Battalion from Gangsu. The rally was addressed by several leaders including H. Elvina, Pastor Vaipe Christian Fellowship, Delhi, Bauzakub Guite, KSOD and NCR, Thang Somlal, President Joe Sangnaupang Polpi, ZSP, Delhi and NCR. Zotong Haukip, co-convener KZWD. They emphasized the need for unity among the Kulkizal people and other tribal organizations to achieve their goals. The rally was also attended by Lucky Bhau Yadav, President Akhil Bharatiya Adivasis Vikas Parishad, ABVP, who came from Mumbai to show his support for the Kulkizal cause. He emphasized the need for unity among all tribal people in India to achieve their rights. Salim Manghaukip, General Secretary, KSOD and NCR condemned the violence in Manipur and demanded justice for the victims. He also criticized the illegal evictions and destructions of houses in Imphal and other areas. The rally concluded with the singing of national anthem and a prayer by Pastor Zontal Samti, Manipur Evangelical Lutheran Church, Delhi. Thamilal Dongal, Vice President, KSOD and NCR, thanked all the participants and leaders for their support. A drone attack on Rohingya fleeing Myanmar killed many dozens of people, including families with children, several witnesses said, describing survivors wandering between piles of bodies to identify dead and injured relatives. 4 witnesses, activists, and a diplomat described drone attacks on Monday that struck down families waiting to cross the border into neighboring Bangladesh. A heavily pregnant woman and her 2-year-old daughter were among the victims in the attack. The single deathless known assault on civilians in Rakhine State during recent weeks of fighting between junta troops and rebels. 3 of the witnesses told Reuters on Friday that the Arakan army was responsible, allegations the group denied. The militia and Myanmar's military blame each other. Reuters could not verify how many people had died in the attack or independently determine responsibility. Videos posted on social media show piles of bodies strewn across muddy ground, their suitcases and backpacks scattered around them. 3 survivors said more than 200 had died, while a witness to the aftermath said he had seen at least 70 bodies. Reuters verified the locations of the videos as just outside the coastal Myanmar town of Mongdo. Reuters was not able to independently confirm the date the videos were filmed. One witness, 35-year-old Mohammed Elias, said his pregnant wife and 2-year-old daughter were wounded in the attack and later died. He was standing with them on the shoreline when drones began attacking the crowds. Elias told Reuters from a refugee camp in Bangladesh. I heard the deafening sound of shelling multiple times, he said. Elias said he lay on the ground to protect himself, and when he got up, he saw his wife and daughter critically injured and many of his other relatives dead. A second witness, Samsudin 28, said he survived with his wife and newborn son. Also speaking from a refugee camp in Bangladesh, he said that after the attack, many lay dead and some people were shouting out from the pain of their injuries. Boats carrying fleeing Rohingya members of a Muslim mostly Muslim minority who face extreme persecutions in Myanmar also sank in the Naf River that separates the 2 countries on Monday, killing dozens more, according to 2 witnesses and Bangladesh media. Medicine Sans Frontières said in a statement that the aid organizations had treated 39 people who had crossed from Myanmar into Bangladesh since Saturday for violence-related injuries, including mortal shell injuries and gunshot wounds. Patients described seeing people bombed while trying to find boats to cross the river, the statement said. A spokesperson for the United Nations High Commission for Refugees says that the agency was aware of the deaths of refugees from the capsize of 2 boats in the Bay of Bengal, and it had heard reports of civilian deaths in Mungdo, but it could not confirm the numbers or circumstances. Lieutenant General Abhijit S. Pendharkar assumed command of the Indian Army's Allied Spear Corps on Saturday, inheriting a significant challenge in the form of the ongoing ethnic conflict in Manipur, which has claimed more than 200 lives in the past year. Lieutenant General Pendharkar succeeds Lieutenant General Harjit Singh Sahi, who moves to Army War College in Mho as its commander. Commissions into the Assam Regiment in 1990, Pendharkar has held a variety of command and staff positions through an illustrious career spanning over 34 years, serving in all types of terrain and operational environment, a defense official said. His experience includes counter-insurgency operations in Jammu and Kashmir and commanding formations along the line of control. Prior to taking over as the head of the Spear Corps, Pendharkar served as the Director General of the Territorial Army. He is a recipient of Ati Visit Seva Medal, Youth Seva Medal, and multiple commendations award. Lieutenant General Pendharkar has held important staff appointments at all levels, including a tenure at Military Operations Directorate, at Integrated Headquarters of Ministry of Defense, Army, the official said. The Spear Corps, the largest in the Indian Army, is responsible for maintaining security in the majority of areas in the northeastern region, including the state of Manipur, where ethnic violence that first started in May 2023 has claimed more than 200 lives. Commissioned into 6th Assam in June 1990, Lieutenant General Pendharkar is an alumnus of Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. He attended the Staff Course at Defense Services Staff College, Wellington, Higher Command Course at Army War College, Mho, and the National Defense Course at National Defense College, New Delhi, during the course of his service. The Miss Grand India final on August 11th in Jaipur saw an unprecedented showing from Northeast India. 4 contestants from the region stormed into the top 8, turning heads and challenging stereotypes. Meghalaya's Irene Dhurk and Tanvi Marak, Assam's Rajashree Dowara, and Nagaland's Nekituno Selchi stood tall among India's beauty queens. Their presence wasn't just about looks, it was a statement. As the contestants walked in, the atmosphere cracked with energy. The Northeast contingent exuded confidence, their diverse backgrounds aiding a fresh flavor to the competitions. Irene Kirk caught everyone's eye with her national costume designed by Daniel Sim. Representing the peacock, she seamlessly blended national symbolism with Meghalaya's artistic flair. Later in the evening, gowned by Ming Moy, Irene proved she was way more than just a pretty face. The Q&A round revealed the contestants' mettle. Irene tackled the issues of bullying head-on. I was told my face was big and had extra fat, she admitted. But her message was clear. I realized I was perfect the way I was. One should practice what they preach. Tanvi Marak didn't hold back either. When asked about her biggest fear, she laughed and said, insects. Before opening up about overcoming body image issues, Nekituno Sechi took on the complex topic of gender-neutral laws, while Rajashree Dowara discussed sources of motivations. The results spoke volumes. Irene Dhurk, Miss Tourism India, and Best in Evening Gown. Rajashree Dowara, Miss Cosmo India and Miss Fashion's Icon. Nekituno Sechi, Miss Popular, while Rachel Gupta clinched the Miss Grand India title. Palak Kohli was named first runner-up, and Shivangi Desai won Miss Charm India. The Northeast contestants proved they were forced to be reckoned with. The swimsuit round saw all contestants in red, leveling the playing field and allowing personalities to shine. Iris Evening Gown, a creation by Ming Moy, showcased her role as an ambassador for HM design label. This wasn't just a beauty pageant, it was a platform where the Northeast showed its true colors. From Meghalaya to Nagaland, these women brought their A game, challenging perceptions and paving the way for future generations. As the curtain fell on Miss Grand India 2024, one thing was clear: the Northeast had arrived, and it wasn't going anywhere. These women didn't just participate, they owned the stage, bringing the spirit of their homeland to the national spotlight. Amid Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to landslides hit Wayanad, Congress MP and General Secretary Jairam Ramesh on Saturday asked Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Manipur as well. In a conversation with ANI, Congress MP Jairam Ramesh said, almost 300 people have died in the Wayanad landslide. It was our demand that the incident should be declared as a national disaster. Today, PM Modi has visited Wayanad. It would be so good if he also goes to Manipur. This was a small parliament session, and most issues related to the budget were raised in both houses. India Bloc raised many issues in both houses. Opposition was active, and we effectively raised the issue of common people in the parliament. For the first time in 10 years, people are witnessing strong opposition. The government is afraid of this fact. The Prime Minister does not come to the parliament, and the ministers who come to the parliament give false information, the Congress General Secretary said. Rahul Gandhi is meeting various delegations from different sections of the society. Government don't listen to anybody, but Rahul Gandhi listens to everybody, he added. He further accused the Bharatiya Janata Party BJP of ignoring states not ruled by National Democratic Alliance NDA parties in this year's budget, saying special packages were announced for Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, but other states were ignored in this year's budget. He stated the government took a good step in the Bangladesh issue. EAM Jaisankar called for an all-party meeting to address the issue, but it would have been better if Narendra Modi had addressed the all-party meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi undertook an aerial survey of the landslide-affected areas in Wayanad on Saturday before physically visiting the locations of the disaster to review relief and rehabilitation efforts in the region. CM Pinarayi Vijayan accompanied the Prime Minister in the aerial survey. During the survey, PM Modi showed the origin of the landslide, the Iruvajini Puja River. He also observed the worst affected areas of Punchiri Mattam, Mundakai and Choralmala. Following the aerial survey, the Prime Minister visited on-the-ground locations impacted by the disaster and received a briefing from rescue teams regarding the evacuation operations currently underway. PM Modi is also expected to oversee the rehabilitation efforts in the area to ensure effective support for those affected. The Prime Minister will also visit the relief camp and hospital, where he will meet and interact with the victims and survivors of the landslide. Following his site visit, the Prime Minister will chair a review meeting where he will be briefed in detail about the incident and the ongoing relief efforts. Massive landslide hit Choralmala and Mundakai of Wayanad on July 30, creating widespread devastation. According to district administrations, 226 bodies have been recovered and 403 body parts have been found in a disaster-hit place. Two soldiers and one civilian were killed during a fierce gunfight between terrorists and security forces in Jammu and Kashmir, Anantnag district on Saturday. 3 other soldiers were also injured in a gunfight in Kokenark forest area. In the encounter, Havildar Deepak Kumar Yadav and Lynch Naik Pravin Sharma laid down their lives in the line of duty. On the other hand, one of the civilians who got injured on Saturday in a crossfire died in the hospital. Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi and all ranks of the Indian Army salute the supreme sacrifice of the two brave hearts. The Indian Army offers its deepest condolences and stands firm with the bereaved families in this hour of grief. The Indian Army stated in an official statement, expressing grief over the demise of soldiers. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh stated, deeply saddened at the loss of our brave and fearless Indian Army soldiers in a counter-terrorist operations in Kokarnak, Anantnag, Jammu and Kashmir. My heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. The nation stands firmly with them in this hour of grief. A day after the gun battle, security forces resumed their anti-terror operations in the area on Sunday. Operations in the Atlant Gadol forest area of Kokenark have intensified as additional troops from the 19 Rashtriya Rifles and Special Forces have been mobilized. The operations taking place at least 15 kilometers inside the dense jungles has been slowed by heavy rain and poor visibility. Sources confirmed that a group of Jais militants had taken shelter in a nomadic huntmans at a high altitude, which are currently being searched. The militants employed their usual ambush and run tactics, attacking the initial search party before retreating deeper into the forest. The army is now advancing from multiple directions to cut off the militants' escape routes. So far, 2 soldiers have been killed in actions and 4 others have been wounded. Tragically, one of the 2 civilians injured in the operations also succumbed to their injuries. Earlier, after receiving intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in the area, security forces conducted search and combing operations in the forest area of South Kashmir. Terrorists attacked the army patrol as they were conducting anti-terror operations in the forest in the Kokarnak subdivision. Based on specific intelligence input, a joint operation was launched by the Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF today in the general area of Kokarnak and Anantnag. Contact was established and a firefight ensued. 2 personnel have been injured and evacuated from the area. Operation is in progress. The Indian Army's Junior Corps said in a post on X, 2 weeks ago, an Indian soldier was killed and 4 others, including a major, were injured as the army thwarted an attack by Pakistan's Border Actions Team (BAT) along the line of control in Kupwara. Prior to this, 4 army personnel and a police officer lost their lives in a Doda district encounter with heavily armed terrorists. The attack was claimed by Kashmir Tigers, a proxy group of the Pakistan Beg Jaish-e-Mohammed (JEM). Seven pilgrims died and 9 were injured in a stampede at Baba Siddhant Temple in Bihar's Jehanabad district on Monday morning. The victims comprised 5 women and 2 men, according to officials. The injured were rushed to the hospitals in Magdampur and Jehanabad for treatment. Alankrita Pandey, the district magistrate of Jehanabad, said the situation is under control. Speaking with news agency ANIC said at least 7 people died and 9 injured in a stampede at Baba Siddhant Temple in Magdampur of Jehanabad district. We are monitoring everything and now the situation is under control. Soon after the news of the stampede came out, the district magistrate and the SP visited the spot. DM and SP visited the spot and they are taking stock of the situations. A total of 7 people have died. We are meeting and inquiring about the family members. We are trying to identify the people who have died. After this, we will send the bodies for a post-mortem. Jehanabad Station House Officer Divakar Kumar Vishwakarma told ANI. Calling it a sad incident, Jehanabad Sub-Divisional Officer Vikas Kumar stated, It is a sad incident. All the arrangements were tight. We are taking stock of the situations and then will further inform you about this. Earlier on July 2, a stampede in Uttar Pradesh, Hathras left over 120 dead. The stampede took place at a religious congregation led by Baba Narayan Hari. In his first TV interview since withdrawing from the U.S. presidential elections, President Joe Biden explained his sudden exit, saying he acted under pressure from fellow Democrats, as his highest priority was to defeat Donald Trump in November. Brushing off concerns about his age and mental acuity, Biden, 81, asserted he has no serious problem with his health and blamed his poor debate performance on being sick at the time. The U.S. president told the broadcaster CBS News that his Democratic colleagues standing for re-election feared the public focus on his age and mental abilities was diminishing their chances of winning the November 5 polls. In the short TV interview recorded in the White House last week and broadcast on Sunday, Biden also pledged to campaign for Kamala Harris, who has replaced him on the ballot, saying he was going to do whatever his vice president thinks he can do to help most. The chances of Democrats winning the presidential poll have soared since Biden's withdrawal, with VP Harris enjoying a surge in support that has left Trump and the Republicans struggling. A number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the elections races. I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic you'll be interviewing me about, he said. The president singled out former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, whose refusal to explicitly back his campaign was seen by many as pivotal. You'll be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say something I thought I'd be a real distraction, Biden told CBS. A critical issue for me still is not a job maintaining this democracy. I have an obligation to the country to do what is the most important thing we can do, and that is we must defeat Trump, he added. Mark my words, if Trump wins these elections, watch what happens. He is genuine danger to American security. Look, we're at an inflection point in world history, and democracy is the key, Biden added. The outgoing president also stressed he was proud of his record on jobs, investment, and COVID recovery, and said he had expected to serve only one term when he won in 2020, claiming that he had been persuaded to push for a second. Biden said, I thought of myself as being a transition president. I can't even say how old I am. It's hard for me to get it out of my mouth, but things got moving so quickly, it didn't happen. Biden has so far kept a low profile since ending his second term bid on July 21, following a Democrat revolt against him after questionable debate performance against Trump. Authorities in Gaza said an Israeli strike on a Gaza City school being used as a shelter for displaced people killed scores early on Saturday. The official Palestinian news agency, WAFA, reported between 90 and 100 dead, and Gaza Civil Defense spokesman, Palestine Civil Defense, Mahmoud Bassel, told the AFP news agency that the death toll was between 90 and 100. The Civil Defense Agency spoke of a horrific massacre and said some bodies got fired. Bassel said 3 Israeli rockets hit the facility in Daras in eastern Gaza City. The Israel Defense Forces IDF, meanwhile, said it had struck terrorists operating within a Hamas command and control center embedded within a school. The IDF accused Hamas of systematically using civilians as a human shell for terrorist activity. It also claimed that it had taken several steps to try to limit the possibility of civilian casualties. The tally of people killed in 3 Israeli airstrikes on the school in Gaza City may well rise, with several still unaccounted for. According to DW, correspondent Rebecca writers. It certainly looks as though the death toll may rise, as there are many people reportedly trapped under the rubble, she said. The death toll given by Hamas authorities so far stands at 90 to 100 people. Writers said claims by Israel to have taken steps to avoid civilian casualties with a precise attack stood in contrast to the images emerging in the aftermath of the strikes. She said the justifications used by Israeli military forces strikes on schools and hospitals, that such sites were being used as command centers by militants or to launch attacks on Israel, was more often than not supported by very little evidence, adding that it was very difficult to verify the claims amid the ongoing conflict. Israel has said its strikes on a Gaza school has killed Palestinian militants after Palestinian media reported that between 90 and 100 people who were sheltering there had been killed. Based on Israeli intelligence, approximately 20 Hamas and Islamic Jihad militants, including senior commander, were operating from the compound struck at the Al-Tabiin school, using it to carry out terrorist attacks, IDF spokesperson Nadav Shoshani said on X, formerly Twitter. The compound and the mosque that was struck within it served as an active Hamas and Islamic Jihad military facility, he added. No evidence was provided, and the claim could not be independently verified. Hamas, whose assertions Shoshani described as sorely unreliable, has denied that the school was being used as a command center, with witnesses describing scenes of carnage in what the militant group said was a shelter for displaced people. One person working to rescue people at the site, Abu Anas, told the Associated Press AP that the attacks came without warning before sunrise during prayers at a mosque inside the school. There were people praying, there were people washing, and there were people upstairs sleeping, including children, women, and old people, he said. The missile fell on them without warning. The first missile and the second, we recovered them as body parts. Mahmoud Basel, a spokesperson for the civil defense first responders who operate under the Hamas-run government, told AP that there were 6,000 people in the school taking shelter from the conflict. A helicopter crashed into a hotel roof and blew up in Australia's Queensland on Monday, killing the pilot. The incident occurred at the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel around 1:50 a.m. local time in northern Queensland, Cairns. Hundreds of hotel guests were evacuated after the crash, which sparked a fire on the roof. According to BBC, Queensland police confirmed that the sole occupant of the helicopter, the pilot, died at the scene. The charter company reportedly said the pilot was an unauthorized flight. Cairns, as Planet, where the hotel is located, is a no-fly zone. Australian Broadcasting Corporation's news reported a hotel guest, Amanda Kay, recalled seeing the helicopter flying extremely low, without lights in rainy weather. She said the aircraft turned around and hit the hotel, adding that it blew up. Upon impact, two of the rotor blades of the helicopter came off. While one landed in the pool of the hotel, the other was found on the Premonite Queensland Ambulance Service, QAS said, as quoted by BBC. QAS Senior Operations Supervisor for the far northern region, Kathleen Dennings, told the media that the crash sounded like a bomb. And after seeing the smoke and fire, many hotel occupants were unsure of the situation. The building was evacuated as a precaution, although nobody was injured. Two hotel guests, a man in his 80s and a woman in her 70s, were taken to hospital in stable conditions, the state's ambulance service said. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau said it would send investigators to the scene. The charter company, Nautilus Aviation, vowed to work closely with all the authorities in Queensland as they examined the unauthorized use of one of our helicopters in the early hours of this morning, ABC News reported. After the crash, the streets around the hotel were cordoned off, and the police declared it an emergency situation, BBC reported. The tourist town of Cairns is considered to be the gateway of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.